Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by. Welcome to the Build Your Business with a GoDaddy website and Facebook page webinar. My name is Renee. I work with GoDaddy, and today you're going to hear from our small business marketing experts, Sean Funder from GoDaddy and Felicity McCarthy from Facebook. During the presentation, all participants will be in a listen-only mode. You may enter questions throughout the webinar by using the chat feature located in the lower left corner of your screen. We'll answer some of the most popular questions at the end of the presentation during our Q&A. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded. I would now like to turn over the conference to Sean Funder from GoDaddy. Sean, please go ahead.
Great. Thank you so much, Renee. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to talk with you guys today about some things that we feel really passionate about. And I'm really, really excited to be presenting with Felicity. So the way this is going to work today is I'm going to go through some information about building a website with GoDaddy, and that will gradually build to the coolness with Facebook, and then we'll turn over the time to Felicity. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get started. What we're going to talk about today is building your business with a GoDaddy website and Facebook page. Now, at GoDaddy, we are all about small business. Got a lot of small business super fans here. And I guess that does a few things for us. One, we're really, really passionate about helping small businesses succeed and using the Internet to do that. And that's one of the reasons we're presenting today with Facebook. And the ways that we do that, right, is in building your brand online with the domain name, with building websites, marketing your website, managing your business online, which all of us do in one way or another, even if it's just with email. But there are a lot of fantastic tools out there that GoDaddy provides to help with that as well. And then even selling products online. And this all comes down to sort of a core mission or a core idea with GoDaddy. And it's that we really believe that every small business deserves a website. So no matter how frightening that is or no matter how overwhelming that might be, we believe that they all deserve a website. I mean, what's better than that, right? You get the same sort of publishing feeling of publishing a book or getting something out into the world that's your idea, that's your business, that's something that you're trying to do to change the world or make an impact or make a living, provide for your family. Now, we do think, though, that a website needs to be more than just the pretty pictures, more than something to just brag home about or call your parents or tell your friends, hey, look, I'm on the Internet, right? We believe that every small business deserves a website that makes them money. So your website, the Internet, as you use it as a small business, and this ties into to Facebook as well, we think that this should do something for your business or for your nonprofit, if that's what you're listening in for today. Like it should move the needle in some way, either getting you more customers, creating a bigger brand, creating buzz, making a difference. For a lot of you, just changing the world, right? You've got a fantastic idea or something that you're already doing where you really do want to make a difference and make an impact. And so with that in mind, there are going to be three quick areas that we're going to cover today, three sort of general areas that we think that you should look at with your website. And so before you build or even after you build, that will help you make money for your business or sort of move the needle in some way. So the first one is making sure that you create a home page that converts. And we're going to go over a couple of things related to that. The second one is establishing credibility and trust. And we'll spend quite a bit of time on this, even though there's only a couple talking points. But this is that opportunity to let people know that you're legitimate, that you're legit. And we talk about that a lot at GoDaddy. We talk to customers a lot about that as well, because you don't have the same opportunity to look somebody in the eye and shake their hand, or to tell that witty, charming joke at the counter to win over somebody so they keep coming back to your business. So you have to use your website. You have to use your sort of digital identity online to do that. And we're going to talk about ways that you do that as well. And then the final point that we'll take a look at is generating leads and finding customers. So not everybody is ready to buy now, but there's going to be a lot of people that are excited about what you are doing, and you want them to keep you in mind as they move forward, as the year progresses, the years progress. That if they ever need your services, if they ever need what it is that you have to offer, that they remember you. So those are the three sort of main categories that we're going to be taking a look at today. Let's go ahead and get started with the first one. We're only going to be going over 5 today, but let's take a look at the first one, which is taking a really good look at a home page. Now this is a business that I would love to run with, and this is a website that's built with GoDaddy's website builder. I put together in a couple of hours for something that would be a lot of fun for me. I was a creative writing major. I went to school in Montana, and yes, my parents are still surprised that I have a job today. But what I would love to do is provide good, clean writing for small business owners. I think that would be a great gig. So I put together this idea for a business called Geek Pros, and this is my home page. Now there's a couple of things that we need to look at to make sure that your home page helps your business or helps your nonprofit, because this is the introduction. This is the first thing that most customers see. So even visitors that come to your website by ways of another means, like they come by another link from somewhere else onto an About page or somewhere else, oftentimes will go and see what it is that's on your home page, because that should be the best way for them to get to know you and what you do. So the first thing with your home page, or your website in general, is to use simple, clear navigation. Now what this means is that you may have to distill, you may have to really organize what it is that you do. Now at GoDaddy, we recommend 5 different pages. When you first get started, the 5 pages are perfect. Now you could get away with 3 if you're just getting started, which would be home, about, and contact. But we recommend 5 as you're getting started out of the gate. And even down the road when you start to offer a lot of different things on your website, you still want that menu up at the top to be only 5 or 6 items. One of the things that can turn visitors off and can confuse potential customers is just a little too much when it comes to the menu or even the content that you put on your front page. And these are the ones we recommend: home, about or about us, contact, services. What is it that you offer me? What is it that you're giving to the world? Now in the case of perhaps a restaurant, this would be your menu, right? That totally makes sense. Or if you're a spa, same type of thing. Or if it's professional services, if you're a consultant, what is it that you offer me? Now note the services on this are different than the About Us page. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but a lot of people on the About Us page or on the About page, they explain what it is they do there. We're recommending that you do that on a separate page where you give sort of the details and the breakdown of what it is that you are offering. And then testimonials. Great way to build a relationship of trust and to build trust with your customers. So let's move on. This is the one thing that if you could remember one thing from anything that I say today, this is the one thing I think I want everybody to take away from all the talking points that I'm going to go over, is that on your home page, you want to determine 1 or 2 calls to action. Now a call to action, easiest way to explain this is, let's say I've got my home page and it's beautiful, right? So it's a destination. So I've got my home page, everything looks great. Somebody hits the home page and they think, you know, this is really, really cool. I think this is an amazing business. This looks really sharp. This sort of fits my style. Now at that point, the main question that they're asking is, okay, so what do you want me to do now? Like, this is great. I love what you're doing. What is it that you want me to do now? So I want you to think about it like in this particular case, it's like a train yard. And you're in charge, absolutely, of the direction you want those trains to go, or the direction you want those potential customers to go once they come to your website. Now without the call to action, They take a look. They might get a general idea, but you're not directing them in any way. And that's not good for your business or for whatever it is that you're trying to do. You want to have one thing that if you had your way, if you had your druthers, what would you want them to do once they hit your home page? Let me give you some examples to kind of flesh this out. In the case with this website, with Geek Pros, the one thing that I want them to do is to download my book, right? So we wrote a book. It's about how to use words to be awesome. You should download it. It's free. Download now. Now that's orange. There's a big button on it. It's the one thing that I want them to do. Now there's a number of reasons why I would want them to do this. One of them is I'm trying to establish credibility as a great writer, as somebody that can help them, and it explains how to do that, right? So establish that credibility with potential clients. One of the other things, though, is that I'll probably have, on this particular case, an email form where they have to give me their email address and a little bit more information, so I have potential clients, I have potential customers. So that's the primary action that I would do on this page. So when offering creative services, this is great. This is a great thing to do. But notice I don't have a lot of other things that I'm pushing necessarily on this page. That's the one thing that I want them to do. And I would even argue that this could be bigger. This call to action could be larger in directing them on what I want to do. Now I've said, working with a lot of customers, your call to action shouldn't necessarily be, oh, I just want them to find out more information about me. But if it is, right, if what you want them to do is just read about you, find out who you are and what you do, then that would be the call to action on your page. It should say, I'm doing awesome things. Please read more about it. And then have a link to the About Us page. Right? It's the one place you want to direct them when they hit your home page. So here are some other examples of calls to action. So a call for a quote, buy now and save, make a reservation, donate, watch a demo, schedule an appointment, register now, call us for more information, stop by today. You know, if you're a small running store in a small town, maybe a lot of these calls to action don't make sense. You just want somebody to show up, right? You just want somebody to stop by, visit you, ask, say the secret code word and get a special treat, right? That would be your call to action, something that you could then measure later on. So one big thing to remember out of everything that I'm talking about today, and would be make sure that you have one particular action, one particular direction that you want your visitors to go when they hit your home page. All right, let's move on to establishing that credibility and trust. And this is our tip number 3, and it's sharing your story. Now I've alluded to this a little bit already in the About Us page that you want to put together. But the About Us page is where you get to share with the world what it is that you're doing and what makes you unique. And one of the big reasons that we recommend this and think that this is important is because we root for everybody, not just GoDaddy, but we root for small businesses. We root for the underdog, for those people that take that step and create something. It's a creative and courageous act. And you want to share that story with your visitors. So in this particular case, I made up a story, but one that we've talked about before, of a group of writers that decide to save a local coffee shop. And when they do that, they realize that they are better. They're okay at writing poetry. They're okay at putting together a screenplay, but they found that they're really good at communicating with their community. And so what they wanted to do was write up some copy and put together some marketing material to help save a local coffee shop. Let me tell you a really, really quick story as to how effective this is and how well this works. I don't know how many of you have ever been to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, but in Cedar Rapids there are 5 smells, which is fascinating about Cedar Rapids. There's also a little Czech district downtown, and there's little cafes and stores. And I was in one of those in November with one of my best friends in the world, and we ordered some food there. And there was a guy around the counter with a big wide apron and a woman singing in the corner. And after we ordered that food and we sat down, he came around and he started to share with us his story. And it wasn't something that we asked. We said, hey, come hang out with us. But he shared his story with us. And we found out that he'd been to California, and he was starting up this business, that he liked to fish. And through the course of the interaction, we found out that his son had gone to California to be an actor. We thought that was great. Have you been in anything? Has he been in anything? And he said, yeah, he was in Lord of the Rings. Have you guys seen that? And we're at GoDaddy. We think that's fantastic. We're geeks, right? So we're like, yeah, fantasy film, absolutely. Now we thought for sure that he would be an orc or a troll or an elf or something, right, in the corner in a tree in the movie. And he said to us, Frodo, right? I'm Frodo's dad. And we looked at him and we said, you're Elijah Wood's father. And he said, yeah, that's my kid. And we thought, that's amazing, right? I mean, high five. We started taking pictures and put it on Instagram and everything else. But I share that with you because he took the time to share his story with us. And so now where do we go when we're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, right? Every time that we're there. We want to go visit Frodo's dad. That's how amazing that story can be. So take some time, put together a story on your website about who you are and what you're doing and why you're making a difference. It resonates with people. So why did you start your business? What makes you unique? Be passionate, add pictures, add a video. Now this is sort of a bonus tip actually, the video. One of the things, video is extremely effective online. We are like moths to the flame when it comes to video. We see that big play button and sort of can't help ourselves, and we'll press play. And it's a very simple way to get your story online is just to record yourself telling your story, or to show those scenes, to show photographs in a video about your business and what it is that you do. And one of the reasons we also recommend this, right, is because 60% of customers, 60% of visitors that find video on your website will watch it, will click on that link, and will start to watch it. So that's a sort of a dream stat, even for somebody like me that writes and writes for a living, has done that in the past. I don't get 60% of visitors to read the stuff that I write. But if I use video, it's much more effective. All right, moving on to our next tip really quickly. You want to gather and publish testimonials. This is a great way to establish credibility and trust because we are a suspicious lot. And so when a business is bragging about themselves, we're suspicious. But if we have a friend of ours that vouches for another business, or even a complete stranger that vouches for another business, that helps build that credibility and trust. So you want to get testimonials from your customers and publish them on your website. It's the don't take our word for it sort of mentality. Now, for a lot of small businesses, there are many different local networks that they can join. Google Places is one that I definitely recommend, but you've got Being Local, Yahoo Local, Yelp. These are all places where customers are talking about you. So even if you don't have a website, even if you're not on Facebook, there's a chance that there are people out there talking about your business now on Yelp, on Yahoo Local, in these different places. And this is where you can also find testimonials and interact with customers and potential clients. And that will allow you to get some of that information. I mean, one of the big questions that comes up is how do I even find this type of information? How do I get a testimonial? The easiest way, don't overthink it, just ask somebody. If they've had a great experience with you and you know they've had a good experience with you, ask for their feedback. And if they give you great feedback, if they give you a great testimonial, ask them to publish it. It's kind of a 3 minutes of fame on the Internet sort of thing. Many people are more than happy to give you that information. All right, so let's move on to our last point, which is related then to gathering potential customers, finding potential clients and customers, and generating leads. And this is connecting with Facebook, and this is our lead-in at this point into Felicity. One of the reasons that we recommend this absolutely is because of what I mentioned before, is the ability to have other people recommend what it is that you do. And that's a fantastic way to then promote your business. It's a lot of hard work. I mean, in order for other people to recommend what you do and to have those friends, to get those likes, you have to offer something that's unique and valuable. But once you do and you have those connections, this is a great way I don't know about you, I have a few friends that no matter what they recommend, no matter what they put up on Facebook, I trust them. I think that they're legit. And so when they recommend something else, I'm going to take a look at that. And then I may recommend that. And then if I have friends that think that I'm legit, then they'll recommend that. And what that does is kind of connect them all together. And so it compounds on itself in making sure that you're on Facebook. It compounds with itself to make you more successful, to spread the word more about what it is that you do. But in order to do that, right, you actually have to be on Facebook. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn the rest of the time over to Felicity. Felicity, are you there?
I sure am. Thanks so much, Sean. So thanks to everyone for joining today, and thanks for taking the time to listen to us and to bear with me for a little few minutes as well. So really following on from the great grounding that Sean has set, I'm going to talk about your business presence on Facebook and what that can mean for you, and how the opportunity that there is for small and growing businesses on Facebook. And really, when we think about Facebook, we think, Facebook is primarily about people. I am myself on Facebook. I am a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a colleague. So I'm all of those things in real life, and I'm that on Facebook too. And really, our ethos is very much around the people who are on Facebook, and those people are very likely your customers and your potential customers. And as we see the opportunity, it's people are connected to all of the people who matter to them, but equally, businesses can connect and reach to all of the people who matter to their business too. And that's not just a lot of people, although there are certainly, with over 1.1 billion people globally on Facebook, there are certainly a lot of people, but indeed they're very engaged, and they're on Facebook every day and everywhere. So, with over 60% of those people coming back every single day, they're actually on Facebook on lots of different platforms. So whether it's on desktop, on mobile, on tablet, you have the opportunity as a business to connect and reach all of those people really wherever they're connected to Facebook. And, as we think about that level of engagement, it's not only that they're spending time on Facebook, like connecting to it regularly, but they're actually spending quite a bit of time compared to anywhere else on the Internet. In fact, when we look at the hours per month spent, it's significantly higher. In fact, if we look at the combined Facebook and Instagram stats, it's way surpasses any of the other affected properties on the Internet. So people are spending quite a lot of time there. But in lots of ways, that's no surprise, right? Because they're getting connections and they're getting updates and they're discovering the content from everyone who matters to them. So, of course, people are going to spend time there. So if I think about it in the context of my news feed and the updates that matter to me, Facebook is one of the only places where I'll get an update about my friend Jordan, who's just recovering from a road traffic accident, really unfortunately for her, but she's recovering well, thankfully. But I can get an update about Jordan. I can get an update about my niece who's reading her first book, but I can also get an update from a business that I care about and I'm connected to. So it's really, those updates are happening all of the time from all of my connections. And as I mentioned, with over 1.1 billion people on Facebook every month, businesses and growing businesses have a huge opportunity to be part of that ecosystem. In fact, there are already over 16 million local businesses who've got a presence on Facebook. And if I talk about that in the context of North America, there are over 2 billion connections between people and local businesses in the US and Canada. So that's a lot of connections. And if you're not part of that, you may well be missing out. And people really want to support and they want to be connected to their local business. In fact, we see that of those total monthly active users in the US and Canada, over 70%, or approximately 70% of them, are connected to a local business. So there's a real willingness and I suppose a lot of people want to connect to their local business, not just as a show of support, but also because they want to get the updates. They want to know what's happening. They want to be able to find out what are the latest deals and perhaps, any new products coming out, etc. So people, there's a real groundswell of support for local businesses in addition to, the opportunity for them to benefit from that connection. So thinking about this in the context of our customers and the businesses that we work with every day, really a lot of them will have a number of different objectives that they're trying to meet across the sales cycle. So whether it's about, driving awareness that, your business exists. So, it might be a new startup, a new online shop, and you're trying to figure out how am I going to get the word out there, right, that I've got this shop. And driving consideration, so driving your business or your brand name to be top of mind when people are thinking of buying. So let's say if I have an online clothes shop, so if people are thinking of buying women's clothes, that they're thinking about going to my website to buy. And of course, driving sales, which is ultimately the bottom line for all businesses really to keep, at least in some shape or form. It may be sales, it may be leads, it may be registrations, appointments, it may be donations, but overall to drive that bottom line. And of course, driving loyalty, because your repeat customers are really, really valuable. And, the opportunity is there for sure on Facebook to be able to drive that repeat, to be able to nurture those connections and to be able to drive some of that repeat business. And we'll talk a bit about, how you can actually do each of those things. So I suppose to kind of bring it back to real basics, many businesses are trying to figure out how can I be found on the internet and on Facebook? How can I find customers, and how can I, bring those relationships to bear to actually, make them drive growth for me? So let's talk firstly about being found. This really is where it just starts with your having a Facebook page. And this might sound really obvious for those of you who already have a page. So bear with me if you already have a page. I think there'll be lots to learn if you've already got one. But for those of you who may not yet have a page is very much like your personal timeline or profile on Facebook. But it is your business representation on Facebook. And it is the opportunity, it's an authentic place for your business. It's an opportunity for you, much like your personal profile, to share your stories, like Sean mentioned earlier, to be able to establish that identity. So, maybe not everybody is Frodo's dad, but, you've all got a great story about your business, how you started. Tell that history and bring that personality to life through your Facebook page. You also have the opportunity to showcase your products and services and to be able to encourage your customers to have a dynamic, two-way conversation on your page. So whether that's encouraging them to post, them interacting with your products or services, or even getting feedback on your page. It's a really great way to drive that sense of it being two-way and very fluid and dynamic, and really giving it a much more authentic feel. And not least, a business page is free. And again, this might sound really obvious if you know this already, but having a Facebook page is actually completely free. So, the other thing that's really interesting as we move towards this very mobile age where we see on Facebook there's such a huge growth in our mobile usage. In fact, over 60% of our users on Facebook are, and that's growing really, really quickly, are accessing Facebook on mobile. So, of course, people are on mobile, and as a result, many businesses and growing businesses are trying to figure out, do I need to make my website mobile compatible, and how can I do that? And of course, you can do that in one, a Facebook page gives you the opportunity to be able to do that. So it's all in one place, as it were. So, as I mentioned, you can set up a page in a couple of minutes, and really you've taken through a couple of quick steps to be able to do so. If you've got a page already, make sure it's complete. So, if you've got a physical location, make sure those location details are there. If you've got, your contact details, make sure they're there. Your office hours, your opening hours. That might sound, a bit unnecessary or perhaps even obvious. But again, if people are looking for your business or trying to contact you on nearby, for example, on Facebook, that they have the opportunity to get straight to your business by those details being up to date. Make sure you've got your profile picture, which represents your business all across Facebook, so whether that's in your news feed or in your updates, so really making sure that that's a good solid representation of your business. And of course, your cover photo really helps you to start expressing your identity and your business personality. And if you've not already done this and you've already got a Facebook page, I'd strongly encourage you to claim your Facebook web address. So facebook.com/username is where you can go, if you don't already have one, to claim your Facebook URL. So it will probably be facebook.com/ and your business name. So that means that you can take that Facebook web address and promote it in other you could put it on your receipts, on your bags, on your invoices, and you could promote it on your website and on any other printed collateral you may have. If you've got a physical presence, you can promote it in store, of course. And now that you've got a page set up, you may well be asking, well, what type of content should I post? What are the things that people want to hear about? And here are some of the things that we see to work very well and to be very effective for businesses on Facebook. So being pretty snappy, short and sweet often works really well. Using good eye-catching photography, and that doesn't have to be super slick. It could be very much in the moment from your phone. But you can definitely make sure that your business is being brought to life by this photography. Sean mentioned earlier the power of video, and we definitely see that there's a lot of interaction and traction with videos on Facebook as well. Being timely and relevant, and of course, posting consistently. So making sure that, if you've got something that's particular to what's happening in your industry today. So for example, if you're in the B2B space, you may want to comment on something that's happening in your industry. You may want to post some thought leadership articles about how you're influencing policymakers, or perhaps some things that are happening that really are going to impact your customers and you want to educate them. So do try and keep that timely and relevant. You now have the opportunity to post while you're on the move by having, if you download the Pages Manager app for mobile. And that's available now on both iPhone and Android. But basically that will allow, we know that business managers and business owners are often trying to do multiple things at any given time. And so you may not be in front of a PC or a computer all day. So it's great to be able to actually manage your page, so respond and contribute and post to your page whilst you're on the go. And that's really, I suppose, again, bringing to bear that big trend towards mobile. And finally, not least, Sean mentioned this earlier as well on your website, but you can use your Facebook page to share those testimonials, to share any advice, any top tips, any best practices. So don't be afraid to kind of showcase and get your community, your advocates, and your fans really contributing to that content, so that it's really good quality content, but it's very engaging content on your page. So really quick kind of summary of how your business can be found on Facebook. So set up if you've not got one already, or complete your page if you have. Claim your Facebook web address, and start posting relevant updates. And of course, installing your Pages Manager app for mobile will help you to be really present on your Facebook page while you're on the go. Now, that often leads us to the very next question, which is, great, now I've got my page and things are going fine, I'm posting, and people are engaging well with my content, and I feel like I've got this cracked. So, but I really want to figure out how to get my message in front of more people on Facebook. And how can I reach the right people for my business? And how can I find my customers or my prospective customers on Facebook? So, I mentioned earlier about, the 1.1 billion users on Facebook. And if I can put that in context for a moment, I think, when we think about growing businesses, whether you're a startup or a small business that could have quite a long history, you might well be aware that over time and in the past, it's been quite difficult to get access to reach a large target audience. In fact, most small businesses have been able to, have typically worked on print, and very much it might be local print, local newspapers, local radio, it might be door drops, it might be direct marketing. But, it's been difficult to kind of get your message in an affordable way to an audience broader than that. In fact, to get access to a larger audience, typically has been something that's been in the hands of broadcast media, which of course has been, traditionally pretty expensive to do. And now, of course, with the dawn of social media, you have the access to a lot more people in a much more accessible way. And you might say, well, that's fine, but I don't necessarily want all of those people, right? So I actually just want to get in front of the people who are in my town or county, or perhaps people who are interested in, my particular product or service. So, for example, you can use our targeting, and here is just an example of the targeting. So you may well target by age or gender or location. So you could well target, an example here is people who live in New York who are between the age of 25 and 45. You may even decide if you had a steakhouse and you're trying to promote to draw people into your restaurant to be able to watch a particular sports event, so whether it's an NBA final or a college game, that you can actually attract people who live in your city, they might be male, they might be between a certain age group of 25 to 45, who are interested in sports, basketball, and perhaps all of the local basketball clubs or teams. And that way, you're actually getting a much more captive audience, right? And equally, you could use that targeting to target against relationship status. So perhaps you're targeting people who are parents of children between the age of 5 and 8, and you're, because perhaps your product or service is related to, so it could well be related to something for kids starting school. So, so you've got a number of different opportunities there. And of course, you've got broad categories which help you target things like tech zealots and even workplace. So, for example, if you're in the B2B space, you can target more workplace type of criteria. So really think about your audience. Who is it that you want to reach? And of course, then we get on to the art bit of the art and science. So craft, your creative. And we talked about your page posts before, and many of these, tips resonate throughout. So think about, good imagery, strong calls to action. Don't be afraid to incorporate offers, any exclusives or promotions you're running, and different, testing different combinations of your adverts. If you're creating a range of adverts, we'd always suggest to create perhaps 3 or 4 creatives, and then test these into different specific target audiences. And this is where the science piece comes in. So, for example, you might segment your audiences into people who have particular family criteria, maybe they have kids, to people who are youth campaign, and perhaps they're motivated more by cost, or whether it's people who are, into health and exercise and health and well-being. So you could target specific messages. You can target actually a range of messages to each of those segments, but very quickly be able to learn which messages and which adverts are actually driving the right performance for you. And of course, really quickly, within a day or two, you can pause the versions that are not working and create more versions of those that are. So again, this is one of the key things that we're hearing from successful advertisers, that this testing different messages to different target audience is really, really effective. So I suppose in summary, to find the customers that really matter to you on Facebook, we'd suggest creating some page-like ad campaigns, testing a variety of copy and imagery, and targeting the right message to the right target audience, and really using the reporting to be able to understand what are people responding to, and really honing, testing, and iterating your strategy. So to the final piece, which is often how businesses are saying, well, great, now I've got my page and I'm able to reach the right people with the right message, but how do I make these relationships grow my business, right? How am I going to turn these into sales and make them drive my bottom line? I suppose one important point to note is that your connections on Facebook are like lasting relationships. So they're not just a click for now. They're actually a relationship that you will have. You might convert it today, or you might convert it at some point in the future. But also, I'm back to a point Sean made earlier, their activity on your Facebook page drives the word of mouth for your business. So it's obviously way better to have someone talk about your business than for you to talk about it. That's true in personal relationships, and it is in business too. So it's always great to have that word of mouth effect. And of course, don't forget that you can use your community of fans to be able to provide feedback, and don't forget to respond to that feedback. So if you're asking them to vote, whether that's on products or services, or that could be flavors or any variety of business changes you have coming up, put that into action. And then you've got this captive audience of people who have voted for the product that you're about to launch. So everybody wins. For driving transactions, one of the key, I suppose, asks that our business community have asked of us for some time has been an opportunity to drive people from their Facebook activity into their physical presence, or to drive that transaction and really link the social activity to their cash register. And Facebook Offers is really the tool that allows you to do that. And you can create a Facebook offer directly from your page. And really what that allows you to do is to put your best deals in front of your community on Facebook. In fact, you can target it to your fans, or in fact to your friends of fans, and to people across Facebook. But as people interact and redeem that offer, it will spread a great, I suppose it helps to spread that message across Facebook to not just the fans of your business, but also their friends. So it's really bringing the best of that transactional information, and really the viral, the organic, and paid viral effect that you can have on Facebook. So think about bringing that great offer to life and being able to connect your online and your social activity to your checkout and to your till. And the last point on the word of mouth piece is, it's really impactful. We've seen in research that if a person sees their friend's name associated with a business, so in this case, I know it might be difficult to see, but if I see my friend Maxine's name associated with Jasper's Market, it actually makes me, not only gives me a much greater lift in my ability to recall that brand, and a lift in my message awareness, but more importantly, it actually drives my lift in purchase intent 4 times. So that's really really word of mouth at scale. So think about, for your business, if you've got 5,000 fans, if you've got 50,000 fans, with people having an average of 130 connections on Facebook, it can actually give you access to a really strong circle of the friends of those fans that you can influence with these really strong stories about your business. Okay, so we're nearly there. So quick, I suppose, recap on this is, sponsor those fan interactions with your pages or your posts. Engage your fans with high-quality content. That level of engagement will really drive the word-of-mouth effect and that relationship for you. Of course, driving transactions and loyalty with Facebook offers. And as I mentioned, any input that you get from your fans, respond to it if necessary, and act on it if they're actually after voting and giving you information. Lots of businesses across the world are making this work, and I can see that there are attendees who have dialed into our meeting today from the UK and across the US, of course. So Serenity Spa is a great UK example that we have, where they're driving, they've actually reduced their cost per acquisition by 45% since they started working on Facebook, and in fact, they're using Facebook as their primary digital lever, in fact. HubSpot are a great B2B example that are using Facebook ads to really generate a lot of B2B leads for them. And in fact, in the first 3 months, they saw a 71% increase in sales from Facebook marketing. And the State Bicycle Company are, just a really great local example where they've increased their annual sales by 500,000 when they were working on Facebook. So again, it just brings to bear by using engaging posts and testing and iterating their targeting and their messaging, they've really been able to hone their strategies to fundamentally drive their business. So that is it from me, and I think we will be turning it over to questions.
Hello, everyone. This is Renee again, and I'm going to go ahead and answer some of the questions. We've gotten a lot of great questions today. We appreciate all your feedback. The first question I have is actually for Sean. Rahul asked, if you have a peer online business, how do you tell stories for that particular business if you're not having those in-person interactions with your customers or business associates?
Yeah, that's a great question. One great example of that is actually something I've been working on with my father. He is starting up his own pure online business. He was a fireman for 30 years, big burly kind of guy, who happens to make artisan quilts. So he quilts. He's a quilting fireman. And he doesn't have a shop or doesn't have necessarily that pure that interaction or face-to-face with customers. He just wants to sell these online. And so his story really is about why he went into business and what it is that makes him different or unique. Pretty easy story to tell if he's a big burly fireman that makes baby quilts and things like that. But also needs to be told, right? And would help differentiate him. This could be as simple as, if you're a reseller, sells books online, or if your business is purely a consulting business that's online, what is it, and you're kind of doing this already probably, just establishing your business, but what is it that makes you unique? And one big recommendation is to make sure that you explain who you are. Like, what do you like? What are your hopes? What do you want to do to make a difference? So I hope that answers your question.
Great, thank you, Sean. The next question I actually have a couple of questions that are related, and I think Felicity and Sean, you might both have some input on these. So I'll toss this one to Felicity first, and then Sean, if you have anything to add. In relation specifically to Facebook pages, someone asked, how do you make a post jump out to someone who likes your page? Felicity, something you talked about on your slides is video, images, things like that. Another one of the questions related to that was, do pictures, images have the same impact as video? And can we speak to that a little bit more about using those different types, different forms of connection?
So these are great questions, and I would generally say that the best way to find out is to test those, because it may vary quite significantly from business to business. So very dependent on the profile of the people who are connected to your page. So for example, on your Facebook page, on the admin panel, you will see some page insights, and it shows you the profile of the people who are connected to your page. So you can get a sense of, what age or gender they're made up of, and sometimes that will tell a story in and of itself, but also in that page insights, it will tell you what people are responding most to. So I would definitely say, typically, images, strong images are probably are very, very impactful. Good videos also are, but they need to be short, and they need to be pretty engaging. Because if someone is going to click into a video, it needs to capture their attention from the very beginning. So think about the videos and make sure that they're engaging from the very outset. I would also say, watching, you let let the data tell you. That might sound a little scientific or perhaps a bit mathematical, but I would certainly say let the page insights give you it'll give you a really quick indication of what people are responding most to, and then you will get to know and understand your community of connections and what they're responding best to. The other thing you can test with your page posting is perhaps different days of the week and different times of the day where people are more engaged and less engaged. And again, that can vary a lot from business to business. So if you've got a cafe and you're trying to drive foot traffic into your cafe at lunchtime, it obviously makes a lot of sense to post in around, perhaps 11 a.m., where you're actually saying, hey, this is a sandwich of the day or the deal of the day or whatever the case may be. However, if you're trying to engage people and it may be that your target audience is more likely to be on Facebook, perhaps, in front of the TV at night. So then your posts might be more effective at 7 p.m. So think about what your audience, particularly what is likely to engage the most, and then of course test different variations, and your insights will very quickly give you the answers you're looking for.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Felicity on testing and how that's unique business to business. Videos definitely found done well are more engaging than pictures out of the gate. However, having said that, we see experiences with you may have two companies both doing the same thing. Say, like I mentioned before, a running company, and one that sort of targets general fitness, and one that perhaps targets marathoners, right, or people that run really long distances. And one of those, when they use their pictures or put their pictures together, maybe they're a little bit more high quality. They show very fit people having a particular lifestyle that looks very fit and athletic, whereas the marathon group, or the ones that run ultra marathons, might just be a lot of people that look beat up at the end, maybe a little bit tired during a race, or something that they've got going. Now, at the end of something like that. And the reason I bring up the two examples based on that is you want to test what's going to be more effective with that crew. You may think, I'm just going to put out pictures of people looking very fresh and excited, and then come to find out that showing people that look beat up after mile 26 is engaging or getting more likes or resonating more with the audience that you have. And that's kind of the great thing about the Internet and a website and Facebook, is that no matter what you put up today, if you're looking at the results and it's not producing what you want, you can change it. And you can change it very quickly with very little cost. It's not like, I guess, days gone by when you would put together a brochure or a poster or even a business card and have a typo on it, and then realize, oh no, this is going to cost me a lot of money to fix. You're very nimble with your website and with Facebook. So you could put a video on a page, you see you're getting some traffic to it, and then switch that over to a picture or a series of pictures, a picture of the day. But both, yes, both very, very effective. Pictures resonate, not as well as a well-done video. Yeah.
Great. Thank you both for that. We've just got a few more minutes for questions here. I've got a couple of others that I'd like to toss in your direction. Felicity, this might be one we need to take offline, but I'll just ask. We've had a couple of questions about apps and tabs on the Facebook page.
Yep.
Is there an approved list of developers that Facebook provides for people who are looking to expand their use of apps and tabs on their page?
So there are in our developer center, you can get a list of who developers called preferred marketing developers, and what those folks are people who are, I suppose, have gone through quite a vetting process with us, and we have established as very much people who are strong in this field. So yes, there is a list of preferred marketing developers for Facebook, and we'd typically recommend people to go there if they're looking for pretty sophisticated apps, or if they're looking to invest in app technology for their page.
Great, thank you, Felicity. Again, this one is coming your way, Felicity. How many posts should I make in a day for the maximum engagement?
How many posts per day for the maximum engagement? Again, I would love to say there's a hard and fast rule, but quite frankly, there is not. It is very dependent on the business. I would generally say, in terms of timing for posting, try to be consistent. So maybe start off with posting once or twice a week, and making those good quality posts once or twice a week. That's better than posting every day but not having quite as compelling posts, right? But as you become more, I suppose, comfortable.
We did? Apologies, it seems like we've lost Felicity on the audio. Hopefully that answered the last question that we had in relation to posting. Basically, I want to reiterate what she was saying to make sure that your posting is consistent. She recommended 1 or 2 per week to start out, and making sure that you're following through with those and responding to any comments that may be made on your particular postings. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up the webinar. I want to say thank you all for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed it. We want to thank Sean and Felicity for sharing their expertise with us. And final note is we will post a recorded version of this webinar on the GoDaddy Facebook page for viewing at any time when you visit there. So thank you again, and have a great day.